Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, and welcome back to today's Daf HaYomi, Maseches BECHOROS Daf Mem Tes. We begin at the Mishnah, which is 8 lines from the top of the Amud. Says the Mishnah, Meis haben b'tech shleishim yom. So this Mishnah is based on the pasuk. V'faduya v'miben chodesh tifta. The redemption of the firstborn son is meant to take place miben chodesh, as soon as he hits a month. As soon as he's a month old, you have a mitzvah pidin haben. What happens if the child lo yaleinu passes away before that point? Meis haben b'tech shleishim yom. Says the Mishnah, Aval b'shanos on the kohen, even if it so happens that father already delivered that money to the kohen, he advanced it to the kohen. Now, how is this meant to be done? We'll see in the next sugi B'ez Hashem how exactly this happens. But in any case, he gave the kohen the money already on account of the future pidin haben. Yachsher. Now that the child passes away, the kohen owes him a full refund because the chiyuv had never been activated. However, the child survived past 30 days and now he passed away. It's exactly the opposite. Even though the father hadn't yet paid, he must do it now. Astonishingly, even though the child is not here, pidyon still applies on the neshama, whatever, right? So, interestingly, Taisus points out that perhaps you should leave out the shechayanu in this case because of the tragic circumstances. Typically, you take two brachas. Asher kidshanu for the pidyon, and then shechayanu for having the privilege, the opportunity to experience that delight, that excitement, that opportunity to do the mitzvah. And perhaps it's not appropriate since the Ramah actually says, the Ramah Paschal said we leave out the shechayanu, but the chiyuv of pidyon haben is still applicable. Interesting. Now let's say the child died not before 30, in which case the father is exempt, not post 30, in which case he's chayiv, on 30 exactly. Meis b'yom shleishim. Kem shelafanah, we treat it like day 29, and there's no mitzvah yet. That is Tanakama Shita, who holds that when the pasuk says mi ben chodesh, it means going forward past day 30, starting from day 31. Rabbi Kiva Eimer, well, I'm not so sure. Maybe day 30 is already chayiv, and therefore we leave it as is. Ibn Nasan layitel, father already paid, he can't retrieve it. Vim lo nasan layitel. But if he hadn't yet paid, he doesn't have to pay. Okay? Let's go back to Rabbanon, who say the mitzvah only kicks in past 30. Gamri chodesh mimidbar. They learn it through Gzeres Shav. By Pidin Haben it says uptuyev mi ben chodesh, and likewise in the account in the midbar when they counted the bechorim, it also refers to chodesh, but there it says mi ben chodesh v'ma'alo, past day 30. So we compare notes. Ma'asam v'ma'alo, just like over there, it's only past 30. Afachanami v'ma'alo, likewise over here by Pidin Haben, it only begins on day 31. Rabbi Kiva, however, Masapka is not sure. Shall we take this route or perhaps not? Why? If you take a look by the Erchen, where a fellow pledges the value of another Yid, the Beis HaMikdash, and the Torah sets forth the fixed rates based on gender and age, and there it says Mu'umalo, where we learn that the lowest age bracket is past 30, starting day 31. Gabi Erchen. Now, why does the Torah have to go out of its way and spell it out over there? Why can't we just learn that from the Bechorim count in the midbar, that it starts from day 31? Why the repetition? And we know when we encounter a repetition in the Torah regarding the same matter, what is the Torah telling us? It's limited to those two matters, and we don't apply it elsewhere. Whenever we have two psukim converging on the same matter, it's limited to those two settings and is not applied further. Okay, that's one approach, in which case only by Erchen and by the Bechor count in the midbar did it begin at day 31, but in terms of a standard Pidin Haben, perhaps day 30 is already ripe. Oidem, on the other hand, perhaps we should learn from there. It's true. We don't transmit that information to other matters. It's limited to those two circumstances. Aval gufayu malamdim, but they can learn to their own sake. Meaning, it's pretty much in the same context. I mean, Pidin haben is going to be learning from the bechorim and the midbar. They're both bechorim and they're both, the same type of circumstance. So perhaps it's not considered like you're exporting. You're just comparing notes. That's why Rav Akiva wasn't sure how to treat it. So we leave it status quo. You paid, good. If you didn't pay, good. Amar Rav Ashi, hakol moedim. Although Rav Akiva is not sure when it comes to the 30-day threshold of Pidin haben, but all agree, even he would agree, leaning avelus, regarding mourning. The child passed away on day 30, he's still considered premature, and there's no avelus being observed on account of his passing. Yoim Shloishim, if he passed away on day 30 itself, Kiev Shalafanov is treated like he passed away before that. He's still premature, and there's no mourning. He's considered non-viable, just like if it would be day 29, 28, or 27. Because until he established himself as a viable child, which only happens after 30 days, there's no mourning. Why do we take a lenient approach when it comes to Avelus? The Amar Shmuel teaches us halacha k'divrei hamekel be'avel. When it comes to Avelus, we take the lenient approach, and that's why we apply a kula, and there's no mourning. Says the Mishnah. Suppose, in this case, the child is alive and well, but the father passed away. Mesa'av. Okay, the child grows up. He's an adult. He'd like to know about his history. Was there a Pidin haben done or not? So, do we have any indications? It depends on timing. Mesa'av b'ter shloishim. The father passed away within 30 days of the infant's birth. We assume, why would he have done Pidin haben? Mecheska shlenifta, the established thinking is that he didn't do Pidin haben because there was no mitzvah yet. Unless you can prove otherwise. Unless you can prove. The neighbors, will relate that there was a party, that there was money. But on the other hand, father passed away past day 30 of the infant's life. We assume that he took care of he addressed his obligations. Unless he knows otherwise, unless the neighbors tell him, look, we know for a fact, Rashi says that Yom means that they tell him that the father instructed B'shas Misasai on his deathbed that he didn't do Pidyon. Unless we know otherwise, there's no way to obligate him. Now comes an interesting dilemma. A fellow shows up from Russia, an older man with a son. Turns out they're both firstborns, and we assume there was no Pidin haben done. Not for the father, not for the son. And all he has is 5 slaim to his name. Who gets priority? Does he pay to himself first, or his own son? Who liftois? Who b'nai liftois? The choice between redeeming himself or his son. Who goes first? Who kaidim levnoi? First goes the father. It's his own personal obligation. Then, later on, he'll tend to his son. Redeemer, no. B'nai kaimai. His son precedes him. Shem mitzvah se'alavi, because the mitzvah of the father is not really his personal mitzvah. It rests primarily on his father. His father neglected his obligation, so it comes down to him. But but in terms of his own son, he's the primary obligant regarding his son. So first you have to address that, then take care of yourself. Interesting. Okay, now for the question of how could you do Pidyon before 30? There's no chiyuv. What the point of Itmar? Here comes an interesting discussion. A fellow decided to forward money to the kohen for Pidyon for a baby that's not yet 30 days. Okay, he knows he's traveling out of town, he wants to take care of it. Rav Amar b'nei Padi, it works. Rav says it works. Shmuel Amar no, b'nei Padi, it doesn't work. Now, what are the circumstances surrounding this Pidyon? Is the money around? Was it used up already? The Kuli Alma Mi'achshav all agree that if he stipulates, I want the redemption to be activated right now on day 15, of course it doesn't work. You can't redeem now, it's too early. On the other hand, if you would have stipulated, I'm only giving you the money now, but it's sort of on account. I'd like the swap to actually take effect after 30, and so he stipulated properly, but another condition as well, the money's around. The money is still around after day 30. He hasn't yet spent, the kohen hadn't spent it yet. All agree there's no question Vade B'nei Padei works. Because the act was done now, the masa was done now, but the effect, the chalois, took effect in its proper time, and the money's around. So at that point, the kohen is zoich in the money for the pidyon. There's no question that works. Okay? So we have a yes, and a for sure yes, and a for sure no. Me'achshav, surely no. Lamed yom, and the money's around, certainly yes. So when is the machlekes? The question will apply if he stipulates, I want to give it to you now, but I want the pidyon to only take effect later, and the money's gone, the kohen filled up on gas. But the father still has a credit. Rav Amar B'nei Padei, it works. Why is it different than a kiddushin? He gave the woman the ring now. He says, look, you know what? I want it to have a delayed effect. I want it to only take effect in 30 days. Midadav HaKedusha Isha, it's like Kedusha Isha. Hasam, just like over there, Laf Afagav is Aklam, even though the money is gone, Hava Kedusha, it works. As we discussed in Maseches Kedushin, we turn time and grade. Sachanami here as well, no different. Loishna. I didn't give you the money just, as a gift. Here's the money on account. And when the time comes, the pidyon should take effect. Shmuel Amar, no. Shmuel said a big difference. You know what the difference is? By the Kedushin, they're both eligible. I mean, you can make the Kedushin now. He decided to have a delayed effect. Okay, that's his decision, and you can do that. But there's nothing wrong with the act. The act was an act of Kedushin, because he's able to do that. But by pidyon, you can't do an act of pidyon. You can't even give him the money on account of pidyon if it's not yet 30 days. He's not an eligible candidate for pidyon at this early stage. So you can't even do the ma'isa. So, yeah, if the money would still be around after 30, so the kohen at that point will be zoicha for the pidyon. But if the money has been consumed, you can't rely on the ma'asa that was done earlier for the pidyon of now. Because at the time of the ma'asa, it was still premature. Shmuel responds, by the case of the kiddushin with the woman, it's within his power, within his ability, if he chooses to do the kiddushin now. So you can do the act of Kedusha now and have it take effect later. Actually, here, he has no ability to do the pidyon now, it's still too early. And therefore it does not work. How do we paskin? Even though we have a rule, whenever there's a machlekes Rabbi Shmuel, we go like Rav. Hilchos Rav B'Isur, in matters of Isur, we go like Rav. Shmuel B'Din, in matters of monetary issues, we go like Shmuel. And the Gemara is viewing this as a matter of Isser, a matter of obligations, a matter of chiyuvim. And Farshim explained the kohen keeps the money regardless. It's like a gift. If it's not a pidyon, it's like a gift. The question is just if a father has to redo it. There's a question of chiyuv on the father. Here we make an exception. Shmuel, that he has to redo it. Now comes a kasha. A kasha on Shmuel, who says that this premature pidyon doesn't take effect. Now, look at the Mishnah. Meis b'dech lamed yom. Child died before 30 days. Ava b'shinasan l'kohen yachzer lo chamesh shloim. So even though you already delivered the money to the kohen, he has to refund him. That's only because he died, time of the meis. But holei meis. But suppose the child is alive and well, b'nei padei. Seems that it's a perfectly valid redemption. What do you mean? It's too early. Well, who says the money's gone? But my skin was speaking. The money is around. Okay, the money's around. Everyone agrees it works because the kohen will be zeich on the money now after 30 days. As the pidyon, Tashmai comes another kasha on Shmuel. The next Mishnah we learn that if the father passed away within 30 days of birth, the assumption is there was no pidyon unless he's told otherwise. Ad Shiyam Reloi or Shiyam Raya Shenifta, you can prove that he was redeemed. Okay, so theoretically he could be redeemed even within 30. That's a kasha on Shmuel, says you can't. There as well, we're speaking, the money's still around. In which case, the entire process can happen now. Tana Kamed Rav Yehuda, there was a chacham who presented to Rav Yehuda. The conclusion is like this. He quoted a brisa, that if one redeems within 30 it works. Amarle, So Rabbi Yehuda, upon hearing this brisa, says, what do you mean? Shmuel Amar Ein B'nei Padi. Doesn't Shmuel say it doesn't work? And you're saying it does? Adam is B'nei Padi? And that's how we paskin. V'af agav, T'kaimelon, Karav B'Yisurei, Ukishmol B'dina, even though we have a rule that in matters of Isser we go like Rav, in matters of money we go like Shmuel, Hacha, here we make an exception, Shmuel paskin like Shmuel, and the Pidyon taking place this early does not work. Okay, so bottom line, a Pidyon before 8:30. Depends how he said it. Depends if the money's still around. If he said I want it to happen now, all agree it doesn't work. If he says I want it to happen later and the money's still around, all agree it works. If the money's gone, you're passing like Shmuel, it doesn't work. And it's different than by Kiddusha Isha, because there he has the ability to make the Masa now, and then the Kiddushin takes place later by way of the credit that he has with her. But here, he can't do an act of Pidyon before 30 days, so the whole act is invalid. Who liftois, or I liftois, who couldn't live night? Okay, if there's a choice in the matter, him or his son, who goes first? Tanakama says father's first. Rabbi Yehuda says child is first. Why? Tanarabban. Who liftois, ubnai liftois? A choice between being paid to the father or the son. Who couldn't live night? Father goes first. Rabbi Daimer, bnai kaidmai, the son goes first. Shemetz vasel aviv, because the son's obligation rests with this father. So his primary obligation is to redeem his son. Because the father's mitzvah rests with his father. Whereas the mitzvah of his own son rests on him. So it would seem that Rabbi Yehuda is arguing conceptually in terms of who's the primary obligant in each case. Okay, Rabbi Yehuda, no. It's just it's a mathematical question. It's a technical question. Rabbi Yehuda, all agree, even Rabbi Yehuda agrees, that if it's a matter of choosing between yourself and your kid, you have to redeem yourself first. You have to attend to your own personal obligations before your son's. Even Rabbi Yehuda agrees to that. So why does he say otherwise? Rabbi Yehuda, all agree. Even Rabbi Yehuda agrees. Suppose all he has in the account is 5 selah, and it's a question of myself or my kid. Who kaidem? Of course, he takes care of himself before his kid. Why? My time. The mitzvah that pertains to this person takes priority over the mitzvah that pertains to his child. Even though he's meant to look after his child, but he's meant to look after himself first. The question is, suppose there's $10 all around. There's chamesh b'nei chayrin, chamesh free money sitting in the account, ready to go, and there's chamesh mishabadis. There's $5 in assets that had been sold, that are in the hands of a buyer. They're bound to this debt, they're meshubad, but they've been sold. So a fellow bought property from this father, which is worth $5. So the question is how to proceed. How to get the maximum pidyon done. Rabbi Yehuda Savar, a debt which was introduced by the Torah, such as the pidyon haben obligation, has the full power of a formal loan. It's like an ashtar, which allows you to collect from properties that were sold after the debt had been introduced. So the father, Reuven, right, can go collect from those assets to satisfy his personal bidin haben obligation. But he can't use those assets to satisfy his son, Shimon's obligations, because he sold those assets before his son was born. But the day Azal, regarding his own obligation, he can go collect from Shabbatim. Regarding the son, he'll use the 5 available dollars sitting in the bank. And these 5 free slaim, parak, he'll use that to redeem his son. And therefore, as Rashi explains, he should do the following order. He should follow the following sequence. First, use the money in the account for the son. So he takes care of that. And now he's stuck without money, so he has to go access the Mishabadim for his own obligation. So that's why he should do it in that order. Because once he uses his available money for himself, he won't be able to access those properties for his son, because they were sold before his son was even born. For Rabbanan Sabri, Rabbanan disagree. on technical grounds. Move aksuv b'Torah, love kiksuv b'shtar damya. A move in the Torah such as Pidna Ben doesn't allow you to collect from a Shabbat. It's like a formal loan in a document which allows you to go. So those are out of bounds. You can't access the properties. The only thing you have is the $5 in the bank. Okay, so for the choice in the matter between yourself or your son, who gets priority? Yourself. Therefore, mitzvah days, all mitzvah adif, that takes priority. So according to this pshat, there's no major conceptual machlekes here in terms of father and son who go. Everyone agrees one's personal spiritual obligations come first. And ultimately, that's what's going to happen. He's going to redeem himself. Rabbi just adds that he should do it in a way that can address his son as well. And that's why he starts with the son and then concludes with himself. Okay, so conclusion. At what point does the mitzvah of Pidna Ben take effect? Maybe in Chodesh. So before 30, Pater. Past 30, Chai. What about on day 30? Tanakama says Pater. Rekiva says it's a suffix. Father passed away to Shleishim. We assume there was no Pidyon unless you prove otherwise. After Shleishim, we assume there was a Pidyon unless you prove otherwise. How in fact can you do a Pidyon to Shleishim? So if he says Me'achshav, it doesn't work. If he says La'achar Lamed and the money's around, it works. Money's not around. Please rather Shmuel, or passing like Shmuel, it does not work. If there's only enough for father or son, we'll agree the father takes priority. But if you crafted a system where, at least in this case, where he had 5 B'nei and 5 Mishubadim, start with the son, and then go on to your own so that you can take from Mishubadim and have them both covered. All the best to you, and Hatzlacha Rab.